Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up. Weekdays catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this day is treating you well. Happy Monday, everybody. Happiest of Mondays to every single last one of y'all. Hopefully you guys are having a good one. Okay. Hopefully your weekend was good. That's the other thing too. Hopefully it was relaxing or action-packed, but fun and safe. Most importantly, safe. All right. But at least hopefully you were doing whatever you were doing with loved ones. But we got some things that I wanted to play a little bit of catch up on. There were some things that I didn't get a chance to cover on Saturday. Sunday was a little bit of a busy day for me. So obviously wanted to give you guys a little bit of a catch up on things that may have passed under your radar revolving around this particular case. I know you guys were asking me, if I remember correctly, Saturday, if I could bring up this particular video and interview with one of the mothers, David Harrington's mother, to be exact. I didn't know that there was an interview at that time that had come out until I hopped off the show and found it. But she's done 2 interviews. And I wanted to share those with you guys, watch it with you guys and everything. There is some other updates, but I'm going to do that as a pop-up video in a little bit. So be on the lookout for that. So we are literally just doing a quick watch of these 2 interviews that she had on a morning show through News Nation. And of course, another interview that she had a few days ago with Ashley Banfield. So now that you guys know what's going on, please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. You know what to do. All right. We're just playing a little bit of catch up. You know, it's crazy how fast news and more information comes out over just 24 hours. You take 24 hours off and things just the news wheel just keeps on a turning, right? So hit that like button down below. Please send it past 300 likes so you guys start to file in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, every single last one of y'all. If you're watching on Facebook, please be sure to hit that reaction button down below underneath this video here. That would really mean a lot. Of course, if you're watching on Facebook, please go over to my Facebook page. You know, go to the top of the page and just follow the show. Follow the channel, the page. Hit that follow button on my Facebook page. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, crush that subscribe button, please and thank you. That'd be greatly appreciated. Please go check out the join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel if you appreciate how I tell these crazy stories and these mysterious to tragic stories. Hit that join button down below. Become a member of the family on the YouTube channel. Okay. And of course, let's not forget, check out my merch page, pascalmerch.com. That'd be greatly appreciated. I got some really great stuff over there. All right. Anyway, let's get into this stuff. Okay. All right. Happy Monday, you guys. Happy Monday. It's kind of like trying to dust off all the cobwebs. You feel me? But hopefully you guys have had a great morning so far. And I hope some of you guys have not seen this interview or these interviews, because honestly, I didn't see them until just recently. But I felt that they were interesting enough for us to take a look at them and actually have a conversation. Because to be honest, I mean, the first one that we need to see is obviously the first interview that came out. If I'm correct, it was like Friday or Saturday morning when this video dropped. But I didn't see it at that time. I was live. I was talking to you guys. I was knocking out an early show before the crazy activities I had, you know, the busy schedule that I had for the weekend. But one of the mothers did speak out. But now she has spoken out twice, and she says a couple things. Not only does she call out Jordan Willis, let's be real, she most definitely calls Jordan out, but she also talks about a few other things that I thought were kind of interesting and important to point out and discuss. during our show today. But as you guys already know, three men went to basically a Kansas City Chiefs watch party. They apparently, these three guys, including a bunch of other guys, do this on the regular. It's almost tradition for these guys. And they went to this guy Jordan Willis's house, and they never left. Well, they never left the house. Okay. According to Jordan, the person who rented that house at that time, he said, yeah, they left. I saw them leave as I was passing out on the couch. He said so many different variations, right? But these three men were found in the backyard, perished, gone. All right. Through words, through the game of telephone, Jordan basically said that these guys, it looks like these guys froze to their demise, right? That the crazy winter weather took their lives. Now, of course, we're all been wanting to know what the hell's going on. What's the truth? Who did this? If there's any foul play, who did this? How could have this transpired in the way that it did? Were these guys kicking it? Were they, partaking in some party favors that might have been tainted? So on and so forth. Of course, we all have been wanting to know that. Even myself, I've done countless videos on here, and many other really great content creators have been covering this. And some people are starting to catch on to the train and are also asking the question, what the hell happened here? And could it be tainted stuff? Right? Now, that's the speculation that I have in my head. They may have partook in something that was laced with something, unbeknownst to Jordan or even the fifth guy. We have to talk about the fifth guy in a little bit, okay? Fifth guy is important, in my personal opinion as well, all right? But nonetheless, something happened to these men. And there's no way that they just went outside and just decided, I'm just not going to fight. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to let the cold take over. I'm just going to let it take over me and just, I'm going to lose my life in this backyard. Doesn't make any sense. Of course, there's been new information about, or at least words being said out here about one of the men not having their coat on, that his coat could have been inside the house. There's also stories about their belongings, their own personal belongings like wallets and cell phones and all that, still inside the house, not on their person when they were found. Again, a lot of really weird questions that still have not been answered. And then, of course, when we talk about Jordan Willis, let's keep it a buck, y'all. Paterno, as I've been calling him, has not really been doing his job. He's not been doing a good job. How about that? He's doing his job. He's showing up and he's speaking out, representing Jordan, but he's saying all kinds of stuff, and he keeps changing the narrative. He keeps changing the story, and it's really, really bad. And I'm wondering, is this kid, is this lawyer one of his father's best friends or something like that? Is he a family friend that is just supporting him just because? Or is Jordan really out here not telling him the full truth? At the end of the day, really, really bad look. Okay. So now we're here. Many people have come out and have been doing interviews on multiple channels now, multiple news stations, etc. Now, the mother, David Harrington's mother, if I'm correct, has done other interviews in the past, but they've been on other news, like local news, and they only take like a sound bite from her, or it'd be a 6-second sound bite, and then they move on to telling the rest of the story. Local news is local news, right? That's just how they operate. But now we're getting more bigger conversations and bigger interviews from family members, including David Harrington's mother. We've heard from David Harrington's partner. We've heard from Ricky's pop, his brother too, his half brother as well. We've heard from various people, right? But I've yet to hear anything as far as interviews from Clayton's neck of the woods, Clayton's family. I'm still waiting on that, right? And if there is something out there, please let me know. I mean, I'm not talking about a source said such and such. I'm saying an actual physical conversation shot on video, right? Conducted by a reporter with somebody that knew or knows Clayton very well, that could tell that piece. Because I have yet to hear anything about Clayton yet. Okay. And maybe you guys have. And if you have, please holla at your boy, let me know. But I haven't heard anything so far. Okay. But real quick, I appreciate Melissa. Thank you, Melissa, for saying that. Your channel is more informative than others out there. Thank you. I appreciate that, Melissa. I salute you. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. And there are some really great content creators out here that are covering this stuff very, very diligently and doing a great job. So I just appreciated you saying that I'm being more informative. Yay. I approve that message. Okay. But there are some really great content creators out here that are covering this very, very well. Okay. It seems like every time the needle moves left, right, up, down, and in circles, there's a new video out covering this. It's insane how on top of this people are. Okay. But thank God people are. Because if this story dropped maybe 6 months ago, this would not be, I don't know if this is going to would be as big of a conversation. It'd be a big story locally and it would just fly under the radar, right? So it is really interesting that this one has taken such precedence, such attention, which I do appreciate. Hopefully we find out what really happened here. And, we got to wait for the autopsy report. We got to wait for the toxicology, all that stuff. Hopefully we get some more truths out here. But two people, let me just say this really quick. I know I said I was going to bring up the fifth guy. I'm going to bring up the fifth guy right now. Two people know the truth. Two of them. It's not just Jordan anymore, guys. Let's not forget, there was a fifth person there. His name is Alex Lee. That has now been printed in articles. News has put out his name, has actually muttered those words. Alex Lee. There was a fifth person. That mysterious fifth person was actually there. He has a different account on what happened as well. Interesting, don't you think? Two people know exactly what happened before they perished. I'm just saying that out loud. All right. I will most likely circle back to that in a little bit. All right. But of course, if you don't know about the fifth person, I did do a video about it. I did it as a pop-up video. It's the most recent video, I think. Please go check it out when you get some time. This guy has a criminal past. He has a criminal record as well that has to do with chemicals, that has to do with him moving party favors out here in these streets. Okay. He has a long history of a rap sheet with his relationship with selling or having party favors on his person. Just something to point out. Don't worry, we will circle back to that in a little bit. But let's get into this. All right, we got to look at this interview. And of course, this is heartbreaking. No matter what, this is absolutely heartbreaking. Hearing any of these family members speak out. And the fact that they have to say certain things, which she says here in a little bit in one of these interviews, it's frustrating for any parent to have to go through this, to speak on things that they may not have to even speak on. Okay, it's crazy, but understandably, the court of public opinion, these social media streets are out here talking, and they really out here talking. So let's take a look at this interview with Ashley Banfield. Like I said, this one was the one that happened on Friday. When we were live on Saturday, you guys were like, hey, check out the interview with the mom. And I was like, what mom? I didn't see no interview with the mom. And then as soon as I signed off with you guys here, lo and behold, the interview's out there. So I wanted to share this with you guys so we could check this one out. There was another one that she had, if I'm correct, this morning that we got to check out as well. All right. Or it may have been Sunday morning. I don't know. Either way, we're looking at two different interviews. Don't forget to hit that like button down below, please and thank you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that follow button if you're watching on Facebook. Follow me on my TikTok and Instagram, please and thank you. The Pascal Show, one word. You can find me over there. All right. And hit the number 1. Let me know you guys can hear this. Let's rock and roll.
Did the detective mention anything about drugs at all?
No, he didn't, but he's with the drug force. So, that tells you a little bit there. And
I want to go ahead.
I want people to know that whatever comes out, whatever happened, these 3 men, they had families, they were hardworking, they were community people, they loved their lives, they had great lives. My son, he was an avid skier, he was a coach for baseball team. I mean, he had a full life. He wasn't a person that sat around and wasted his life. This should have never happened. Not to my son, not to Clayton, not to Ricky. They all deserve for this investigation to dig deep and to find out. Because I believe Jordan does know. And I'm asking Jordan tonight to please come forward and tell the truth, because he does know what happened that night. He was there and he's the last one alive. He's the only one that can tell us and give all of our families some peace. And I know he might be scared. I know he is probably sad. But he has to know. I'm sorry. He has to know that
it's understandable.
That we need answers.
Of course I got to jump in and out of here, of course, for fair use and all that crap. Sorry guys, but those are the breaks. But when I hear her talk about her son, obviously saying like, okay, he liked to go skiing. He was a person full of life. He never took, he never took life for granted or anything of that sort. Okay. That's an amazing thing to hear about your son. And of course, it's very tragic to hear that he's no longer here to be able to spread that kind of joy and spread that kind of influence out there. But then she says, of course, Ashley Banfield in the beginning asked about if the cops ever said anything about any type of party favors being found around the house. She says no. Cops didn't say anything about anything being found in or around the house. Or, even so, was there any mention of any stash being found on any person's body? That's another question I'd like to know too, right? Were they just completely clean and they were just there, just gone? That doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? This is the reason why you, me, and Joe Blow that owns the ice cream shop around the corner are all scratching our heads trying to figure out what the hell happened here, because it just doesn't make sense. You're telling me that there were no chemicals involved. No party favors were found inside or outside the house. One of the guys didn't have a coat on. They're just found out there gone. Again, it just doesn't make sense that this is somebody that's out here. It just doesn't make sense, guys. Like I guess for me, it's like I keep wrapping my mind around this. Like, okay, what are the other possibilities here? Sure, they got so drunk they just stayed outside. But remember, Jordan, as she just said, Jordan needs to come forward and come clean with everything. Tell us exactly what happened. What's the real truth here? But what's frustrating is because he's got Paterno out here talking crazy, talking messy, muddying up the waters. We don't know what's the truth, which is making everybody speculate even harder. And again, cops are saying that they didn't see any paraphernalia, any tools, any party favors, any residue. In fact, did they even look? Were they investigating the scene like they were looking for stuff like that? That's another question I'd like to ask as well. Were they in there really looking around, or did they just take what Jordan said at face value? Oh, yeah, they froze to death. All right, moving on, guys. That's the thing I'm wondering. But again, you got to remember 48 to 50 hours of no contact with the outside world, allegedly Jordan had. Or that's what allegedly what Jordan claims out here. No communication with the outside world whatsoever. Not at all. You're telling me he didn't have time to clean up the mess? If there was a mess? If there was residue? Anything of that stuff, of that sort? You can flush things down the toilet. You can move things around without a problem. So again, were they coming out here? Were they coming out here and doing this investigation, or were they looking and surveying the space as if this was an investigation, or did they just walk right into the backyard, find the three men, and just took at face value? These guys just got perished because of the cold. Makes sense. Let's move on. Again, a lot of questions I have. And again, I want to point out two people. Two people know more. Two people. It's not only just Jordan. Also, Alex Lee knows things as well. Let's not forget that. Don't worry, we're going to be getting into a little segment about Jordan and Alex in just a little bit, but I want to keep emphasizing that for all y'all. Okay? Let that sink all the way down to your plums. Okay? Let's continue.
We need to know the truth, and that nothing but the truth is going to work. And he won't get any rest. He won't feel good until he tells the truth. And I believe there was a lot that happened that night. And I believe he knows exactly what happened.
I think a lot happened that night as well, but I don't know if anything physical happened to the guys that night. Clearly, if there was something physical that happened to those guys, they would have already said there was foul play involved. If there were bruises, cuts, puncture wounds, etc., on the bodies when they found them outside in the backyard, they would have said, foul play, let's go. You know what I mean? It would have been a wrap by then. We would have been, you see what I'm saying? We'd be talking about this going, okay, so foul play was involved, and this guy's still out here kicking rocks in he's out here in these wilderness streets right now. He literally did pack up his stuff and run. He ran. He's gone. We don't know where he is right now. The only person that knows where he is Pacerno, and that just depends if he even knows what the day is, honestly, Pacerno, with how he has been conducting himself in these interviews. But regardless, he's gone. So if there's anything, I don't think anything physical happened to these guys. Something bad happened. Clearly, they wouldn't be dead right now. They'd be alive. Right? But clearly some sort of foul play happened. The question is it by the hands of Jordan? We don't know. I think the only foul play is how he conducted himself after those men were found dead. But let's continue.
Jennifer, what do you think happened? What do you think is the cause of the deaths of the three men, including your son, David?
I don't know. I mean, everybody's speculating, that it was drugs. It could have been, I don't know. And if it was, then I want to know where it came from, because I know that the three guys did not have money to get anything. They were all, trying to take care of bills and their families. And at that point, none of them had money for that. And the only person that did was Jordan. So if anything was provided, it would have had to been by him.
Okay, I got questions. And her theory is not wrong, or her speculation, her theories, whatever, is not wrong. There's no wrong answer when it comes to this right now, because we don't have anything. We don't have any answers. We don't have anything yet. So it's all speculation right now. This is just her theory, and it's fair to have this theory that maybe Jordan was the one who had the hookup. He had the monies. These are regular, hardworking men that live paycheck to paycheck, maybe. But then at the same time, maybe she only knows David Harrington's, her son's wallet, and how long his money is. We don't know how the other guys, how the other guys spend their money, right? We don't know their financial status, okay? But it's fair to say that, okay, like they had enough money to, they know that they can go, and they're balling on a budget, right? They go and see the game. They know they're going to spend X amount of dollars, but that's as much money as they're going to spend, right? Fair. And that's true. Jordan could have been the one with the hookup, and it was all over at his house. And so they went over there, because you got to remember the fifth guy, okay, Alex, allegedly they were over at his house hanging out for a little bit. And then they ended up going over to Jordan's. Now, if Alex was the one providing, why would they have to go to Jordan's to partake? Again, that's just one thing I'm curious about. Unless, I don't know. Again, this is theory, or speculation. Unless Jordan was like, yo, I got some money. I got a couple I don't know. I got the money at the crib. Could we just go over there and we can just go and hang out over there and we can get as loud as we want, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Right? But we don't have the full answer. It is true. The house that he was living in was not a small place. The house that he was renting was really, really nice. He obviously has a very important job. So maybe he had it, and that's why they all went over there to do their thing. That's a possibility. And he just didn't know that stuff had stuff in it. But how is he still alive? And how are these three men gone? That's the question I have. You see what I'm saying? It just doesn't, that part's just not mathing. But one of the people, one of the surviving people, all right, number 5, Alex Lee, could hold the key to unlocking that part up, telling us exactly what went down. And then that's the other thing, Wild Mountain. I was just about to say that. Dan took the words right out my mouth. And maybe Jordan didn't partake. That's a very good possibility. Maybe Jordan didn't partake. Maybe. Hey, I got it. Yeah. I'm holding, but it's over at the crib. Why don't we go over there? Blah, blah, blah. You guys can do whatever you want. We'll play some video games. We'll chill, whatever. No. I got a big morning tomorrow, so on and so forth. Have your fun. They'd partake, and then all of a sudden, tragedy happens. That's a possibility. Again, I mean, Lost Little One said Jordan is smart enough not to do the stuff. Just my opinion. Maybe not. You never know. Like, okay, I got to let me finish this interview here, and I do have a strange theory that I'm just going to ask you guys. We're exercising every theory under the sun at this point, right? So I'm going to throw this one out in a little bit. And it all has to do with when Paserno's been saying, oh, he bought tickets for them to go see the game. It bounces off of that. And again, it's going off a wild, just a knee-jerk reaction that I have in my head. So I'm going to ask you guys that in just a second. But let's play the rest of this before we go into the second one. I will talk about my strange ass theory. And again, it could be absolutely 110% wrong, but let's rock and roll.
And that's
Jennifer
where
Marquez,
I
I am just,
think that this may be
I'm so
going.
sorry that, I'm just so sorry that you're going through this. This is just so traumatic. And you're right. There are families involved, people like you who are grieving and are grieving in a mystery. I would love to have you come back as we continue to follow the story. We will dig on it. We will absolutely dig on this. It will not be left unsolved. And I wish you the best, to not just you, but to your extended family as well, as you maneuver through this very difficult process. Thank you for doing this tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know what really hurts is you can hear it in her voice, the mother's voice, how hoarse she is. She hasn't, you could tell she hasn't slept. She's been crying, I'm sure, nonstop. You could just hear it. Even when she was trying to talk about her son and all this, that being like, I just need answers. You could hear how choked up and how hoarse and tired her voice is, because I'm sure she's doing nothing but talking to everybody on phone calls, etc., trying to just find out what's going on here. It just beyond exhausted, right? Just beyond exhausted, right? But this is interesting. I'm gonna do all the crazy theory thought that I have after this next next clip, because I do want to share this and try to keep it at least concise with you guys. But again, what are your thoughts so far? I mean, I know a lot of people have their theories. Still, I definitely have mine. Mine's still kind of hopping around. Bad-ish went down. They took the wrong stuff. Bad reaction happened. Jordan, I think, found them or saw them maybe react in a negative way. Saw them perish. Freaked out. Cleaned up all the stuff. Had a full-on anxiety attack because he didn't know how to tell the people, family and friends, that all of them passed away in his house. And that's basically it, until somebody got aggressive, broke into the house and found the first person gone. That's just my theory. But of course, what's not making it easier is that he's out here, or he's allowing his lawyer to talk crazy out here in these interviews. And these interviews he needs to stop doing these interviews. That's just what I'm saying. Jordan needs to talk to his lawyer and go, hey, stop. Johnny, stop. Okay? Stop until you get all the facts right, because he's only incriminating him even more. Every time he goes live, every time he goes into an interview, he's making it worse for him. But let's take a look at this. This is the newest one that happened. I think it was either first thing this morning or yesterday's show on News Nation again. They've been doing a great job in keeping on this story. But again, the mother speaks out again, and I wanted to share this with you guys as well. So let's take a look at this.
Thank you so much for being with us. I'm so sorry for your loss. And can I just ask, how are you? How have these last almost 3 weeks been for you and your family?
They've been, there's no words to describe how they've been. Day by day, it's different. One day, you're crying and you're just barely getting by, and the next day you're pushing yourself to try to figure out what to do next. And that's hard because you don't know what to do next. I mean, this is something I don't think anybody would know how to proceed, and especially when we don't have any answers yet. All we have is a bunch of people telling us, what they think might have happened, but there's no answer. So we just sit and cry, or we try to get through. I don't know what to do. I'm lost, basically.
Jennifer, we just heard from Jordan Willis's attorney there. Do you have a message for Jordan Willis tonight?
I do. I keep, I just saw the lawyer say that he purchased those tickets so that they could go to a game. Well, people do things with good intentions, but then something bad can happen that you didn't plan on. And obviously that's what's happened.
That's exactly my theory as well. Excuse me. That's exactly my theory as well. You're telling me that, and what's frustrating, because of course I'm going to pull up or try to find that clip again to share with you guys, but the lawyer is pulling this out like it's an alibi. He's using this to be like, look, he had tickets. He had plans to do things with these guys. Look, he had tickets. Okay. Still doesn't stop something sinister or something tragic from happening to his friends. And then the trajectory of plans completely go off the rails, right? I mean, it's insane for them to sit there and go, oh, well, he had plans. He had plans for the future. Well, the present moment, these three men are gone. Doesn't matter if you have tickets. Doesn't matter if you were about to buy them a shiny brand new car. Doesn't matter what your good intentions were when they're gone. It's about what you do at that moment. It's the decision that you make. Do I do the right thing and call the cops? Or do I just chill in my home, clean up any evidence that could be in the house, and just hope and pray that no one notices that three grown-ass, very important people in other people's lives just went missing? They're not going to go and do he believes that people aren't going to go and do their reverse math and go, hey, he was last with you guys. So where's Ricky? Where's Clayton? Where's David at? He just sat there hoping for a prayer, hoping for a miracle. That's insane. That's insane.
Something came up that wasn't intended to happen. And with that, I want Jordan to come forward and say, this wasn't meant to happen, but this is what happened. I did this, or I saw this, just tell us. I know he's scared, but he was there. He participated in whatever happened that night. He had to know. And he's the only one left that knows what happened. And I think that's why he didn't answer the text messages that people sent him. And I think that's why he waited so long to let anybody know what happened with the men.
Well, and Jennifer, can I ask you about that? With the time we have left, and there are two quick things I wanted to ask you. So, his lawyer said technically Jordan received the messages, but he did not see them.
Which is absolute BS trash. I'm sorry. Absolute BS trash. Like I said, he's trying to move the goalpost and trying to do as much as he can to make it seem like this guy is innocent. But the thing is it's making him look even more guilty. Okay.
Are you crying foul on that? Do you not believe
Damn
that?
right.
I think it's false, just because I know I heard from several people that said they kept texting him. They went and knocked on the door. They banged on the door. She had to break in, but somebody went earlier in the day. How could you keep missing texts and people knocking on your door and not notice anything, not receive, any of that? I think he saw it and got scared and didn't know how to respond.
Jennifer, lastly, what do you think happened that night, and what do you make of the speculation surrounding drugs? Any thoughts about that?
Hold on, I'm going to roll that back to what she just asked in that question. That question she just asked, I'm going to roll that back here in a second. But listen, her theories are not wrong. I mean, the mother, they've had 3 weeks. They've had 3 weeks to calm themselves down, family members, everything, to sit down and really think about the possibilities of what happened here. Instead of it just being like, is he a mad scientist? And he's just sitting there, you know, with his beakers and graduated cylinders, just sitting there, you know, laughing diabolically as he's, you know, the lightning striking and he's the next Frankenstein or whatever. Like, there's plenty of those speculations that came out right out the gate in the very, very beginning. Okay. But now as this dust has settled, the tragedy has settled a little bit. That heightened emotion, yes, it's still there, but it's not as sharp. It's not as prominent. You get time to really clear your head and think about the possibilities of what actually happened to these 3 men. And this is exactly what she's saying. Now we're like, oh, okay. Now she's sitting there going, hey, wait a second. This could have been an innocent situation. And I use innocent very loosely, okay? But it could be a very innocent situation where something bad happened and he reacted. His knee-jerk action was to save his own ass instead of actually doing the right thing. Because he's like, oh my God, I have an important job. I got these things. And now I got 3 friends that are gone and they're in my house. They're in the backyard of my house right now. Oh my God. Right? So sure, it's really easy for us to go down the mad scientist route and try to dress it up into something even more salacious. But honestly, it could be as cut and dry as these guys partook in something, he reacted, or they passed, and then he reacted in the worst way possible, and actually in the most selfish way possible. Oh, let me not do anything, because maybe if I hold out, they won't notice these 3 guys are gone. Literally. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Stupidest idea ever. But then to add insult to injury, what he's actually doing is taking shots of tequila and the lime juice and the salt, and he's rubbing it in this very open wound, okay? By sitting there and having his lawyer out here talking a mess and still trying to save his own self. That's ridiculous, y'all. He's being dumb as hell, and it's making the situation worse instead of just stepping forward and saying, this is what actually went down. The other sad part about this, too, and I've said this in other shows before, is that if Jordan does step forward and talk and tells us verbatim timeline of what happened, are we really going to believe him by now? Or is it going to be the boy who cried wolf now? We're just not going to believe it at all, when it could actually be the truth. But because there's been so many lies and so many inconsistencies, I know that they've been saying inconsistencies with Pascal, but it's lies. You can call it lies, all right? They're just being as diplomatic as they possibly can, but they're lies coming from that lawyer. It's hard to believe what might come out next from Jordan, because the speculation train is already gone all the way off the rails already. So is there any salvation for him if he was to come out and actually tell the truth, or no? I leave that question up to you guys. Let's continue.
I don't know what happens. I know none of these men are drug addicts. I know that. There's speculation that, oh, they must have been doing this and that. And it, something may have happened that night. I don't know. I want people to know that this wasn't their life. And if something was provided that night, I know that none of them had the means to provide that. And that's part of the reason why I think there's a problem, is that all of them were taking care of their families and their bills and did not have money for that kind of thing.
But other people do. Other people do.
Jennifer Marquez, I hear you, and I'm so sorry again for what you are experiencing. I hear you, that you and your family just feel lost right now, and there's so little information. We appreciate you making the time tonight. Thank you.
Now, the thing is when it comes to this whole thing. I think it is really sad and kind of messed up that because there may be a possibility of party favors involved, that it instantly equates to, oh, they were addicts. And there are plenty of people out here that partake that are not, you wouldn't put into that cookie cutter breakdown of what an addict is. I think it's unfair to instantly go, oh, these guys are all just, oh, they were crackheads. You know what I mean? It's not fully fair. Okay. I've had plenty of people that I've known that I've lost over the years of my life that have just tried something. We talked about that in another show before. They just tried something, and it just happens to be the day that they use it, the day that they try it, happens to be the stuff that is the worst thing that you can ever try to put into your body. Just happens to be laced, unbeknownst to them. But they're just a little curious. They want to experiment, whatever. They're like YOLO, right? Do kids say YOLO anymore? But anyway, you're sitting there going, all right, it's a wrap. Let me try it. Fine. Maybe a little peer pressure as well. It's like, all right, fine. Hey, it's one time. Let me just try it. I can at least say I tried it in my life. Never will do it again, but YOLO, right? So then you do it, and unfortunately, it's laced with Fenty. Those stories that's a tale as old as time now. Those things do happen. And even those guys who sit there going, I've only done it like 3 times in my life. And then the 4th time is the last time. It's very possible. I've heard many a story like that. I've had people in my life that I've known through people that you just know at local watering holes, or, through family friends, blah, 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 or friends of friends that did the exact same thing. They just tried it out. And next thing you know, it just happens to be the first and their last. And then suddenly people are like, oh, wow, I didn't know he did it like that, until you hear the stories. No, he's never done it. He just wanted to try it. And it just unfortunately happened to be his last moment on earth. It's sad, but that's crazy. And it's true. It really does happen. Real Micro K just said, hey, I've lost 15 friends since. It's a real thing. And it's beyond. It takes everybody. It doesn't care if you're a novice or you a doggone expert in this mother lover. You like ninja status with this ish. It don't matter. It doesn't care your race, doesn't care your economic status. It doesn't care. It just takes you. Doesn't care if you read the Bible on Sundays and just randomly you feel a little squirrely this one Saturday night, and you say, F it, I'm just going to try it. YOLO. Boom. Gone. Boom goes the dynamite. It doesn't matter. If it's laced, it's laced. So it is unfair for people to suddenly just look at these 3 men and go, oh yeah, that's all they do. No, that's not entirely true. It may be true, but then at the same time, it may not be. And that's not the important part here. The important part is what happened to them? What went down? How did these men leave this planet? And how did they leave at the same doggone time? Because it cannot be freezing. Like I said, you can't tell me Sub-Zero stepped out in the backyard and said, freeze, everyone chill. You didn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger painted in all silver showing up with a Arctic blaster shooting these guys with this nothing but Sub-Zero cold. I'm sorry. No, that doesn't make any sense to me. One of them allegedly lived a mile away. We talked about that in the live that we talked about, that we watched, where David Harrington's partner spoke out and said he lived a mile away. So if he really wanted to go home, if it was really that cold, he could have done, he could have high-stepped his ass all the way back home. He could have walked home. So many options, so many possibilities here, and none of it is making sense because you got the renter of the house making ish up. And then, of course, yes, morning Mayan. Yes, exactly. Cars were outside. At least two of the cars were outside of the house. Still. And this dude has the audacity, Jordan, has the audacity to say, oh, yeah, I didn't see no car. Look, I didn't look outside at all. You didn't look outside at all. You didn't want to see if the sun was up or the sun was down. You didn't want to see how the weather is. I'm always looking out the windows. I'm always looking out windows. In fact, as soon as I get done with this show, I'm going to walk right over to a window and just look at it stoically and take in the day. That's exactly what I'm going to do. In fact, that's what I do every time I get done with the live with y'all. I just stop the show, end it, turn off all these lights, walk right over to a window, open up the blinds, and just stare at it. Just like that. I'm playing. But at the same time, come on. You can't tell me he's not looking out no doggone windows. That's insane. Okay? That's absolutely nuck and futz, in my personal opinion. All right? Now, we got to get into a few things here. Okay? But first, do me a favor. Okay? Because I know it's Monday. Oh, boo, yuck. Monday. But please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. I know it's like you gotta move the mouse or use your finger onto your phone and hit the like button. But hit the like button for me, okay? Let's get it past 800 likes, okay? We're not very far from that, all right? So hit that like button down below. It doesn't cost a thing, all right? But it helps the show. Please and thank you. And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook, hit that follow button on my Facebook page, please and thank you. Okay. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. All right. I got some really, really great stuff over there. So please go check that stuff out. All right. Great clothes, t-shirts, hoodies, custom tie-dyes, etc. Go and check those things out. Trust me, you will thank me later. All right. Now, there is a few things that I wanted to talk about, but somebody did mention this that I think will be interesting. Take a look at right quick. So I guess a renowned pathologist put in his 2 cents on this situation, on this story, which is also, I think, interesting. He gives his expert opinion on the Chiefs fans passing. All right. Says police know the cause. That's interesting. So let's take a look at this. And thank you. I don't know who said that. I think it was like I forgot their name. I apologize. But someone in here said, Lynn, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to take a look at this. We're going to look at this together. Okay. So it says forensic pathologist, Dr. Baden, not Biden, but Baden. All right. Delivered his assessment Monday on the demise of 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans discovered in their friend's backyard. It may be that all 4 of them took something that made them pass out. He, Jordan, Willis, passed out indoors and slept it off. They passed out in the cold weather and snow, and within an hour, the body temperature would go down from 98 degrees to 80 degrees, and the heart rhythm goes awry, and the person dies of a cardiac arrest because of hypothermia. This is what he said on Fox and Friends. Okay. He told co-host Dosey, I don't know how to say this last name, but Ducey, I guess, the toxicology test results will provide more information on whether party favors were consumed and at what level. This may be just a recreational level, and they didn't pass of an OD, he explained. However, Baden said most simultaneous deaths are caused by carbon monoxide poisoning, but only indoors. The outdoor deaths, he continued, point to drugs having been the likeliest cause. They may not have known what was in the material that they were taking, and they got confused. They passed out. One passes out indoors and sleeps it off. All the others are outdoors and pass away of the cold. I'm sure the police already know. They were at the scene. They got information from the scene, what was used, if we really know that, which we're going to break that down here in a second. I'm sure this Willis person is talking and cooperating with them and is telling what he knows. The police are looking for whoever supplied the drug. And when they find out, they'll release that information. They know the cause of demise. They know what the toxicology is by now. Interesting. Meanwhile, a source close to Jordan Willis' family told Fox News Nation or Fox Nation that he's been depressed about people speculating that he had something to do with his friend's demise, and is also devastated by their loss. All right. And we already know about all the stuff, January 7th and all that. But I think this is very interesting. He says, I'm sure the police already know. They were at the scene. They got information from the scene, what was used, and I'm sure this Jordan person or this Willis person is talking and cooperating with them and telling them what he knows. The police are looking for whoever supplied the drug, and when they find out, they'll release the information. They know the cause of demise. He says, I'm sure police already know. They were at the scene. So in my personal opinion, if this forensic pathologist, this man right here, Dr. Baden, I don't know. But if he really is correct, then there's a reason why police are looking at this and saying, no, there is no foul play. There is no foul play, okay? Because at the scene, we see that such and such happened. This has nothing to do with no one was attacked, no one was this, and this, so no foul play physically at the surface is seen. But as far as what they took, police may already know, okay, they took some tainted stuff. Maybe. But this is interesting, okay? If the police already know, then I feel like, I guess they're trying to get more information or have reports come out so that they can, instead of it just being a theory, they have solid evidence, right? From reports, toxicology, autopsy, and whatnot. So for them to already know, it'd be very interesting if they were to come out and just say, yeah, we already know what happened and this is what's going on. Here's what went down, right? But this is the other part that really drives me crazy about this article, all right? It says, okay, they were at the scene. Yes, they were at the scene. They got information from the scene, what was used. And he says, I'm sure Willis is talking and cooperating with them and telling them what he knows. Now, here's the thing. They got information from the scene. So what are the possibilities? And this is the other thing that I'm very curious about, especially with the fiance that broke into the house. She broke into the house through the basement window, and she went through the house. And allegedly, from what they say, she was screaming inside the house. She was yelling people's names. She was making her presence known inside the house. Now, that's another conversation in itself. But I'm curious as to what the fiance, and if my memory is correct, Clayton McGinney's fiance, I'm wondering what Clayton's fiance saw inside the house initially. Was there any paraphernalia? Was the place a mess? Did it have a funny smell? Whatever it may be. What did she see in that house? Not just outside the house, but inside the house. Now, that's just something I found very interesting, and I'm curious because if they got information from the scene, what did they see? And of course, the other part is what was used. So then what was used then? For them to sit there and automatically say, oh, this has nothing to do with anything. You know, this is not foul play and all that stuff. So then tell me, what is it? What were the party favors that were used? Okay, so that we can get straight to the point. Suddenly, my dogs are feeling some type of way about this, right? But again, they're wanting to know too. They're like, hey, some foul play is going on here as far as what was being used. 5-0 went into the room, went into the scene, and got information. What was the information? Okay, I'm just repeating that again because my dog started barking like crazy. They just upset. Yeah, the real. They just upset. Just like everybody else is about this. You know what I mean? They're holding it down for the people of Kansas City right now. All right? You know what I mean? But again, I digress. That's the part I find very interesting. If they already know, might as well just say it. Tell the families, get more transparent, unless they're waiting to hear more solid information before they sit on that theory, or they sit on what they feel is what really happened here. Okay. And I want to go back into this other part here too, because I found this to be interesting. All right. And I've never seen this article. This is me reading this cold turkey. But his theory, Baden, whatever. Okay. This is the other part I'm wondering. And I don't know. Is there a press conference? I have not seen any press conference. They have yet to do a press conference. Okay. So if there is a press conference, let me know. But I have not seen one. Okay. Trust me. If there was a press conference, we would have been looking at it already. Okay. We would have been looking at it already. All right. All right. So I got to tell my dogs to quiet down. Dag nab. Yeah, I was going to say there's no press conference, but moving on to this. All right, this is the other piece that I found to be interesting. And of course, this is a fair theory. This is just a theory from a forensic pathologist. All right. But he says it may be that all four of them took something and that made them pass out. That maybe he took whatever he took. He was partaking. Maybe Jordan was taking it too, but he survived. Maybe he didn't take as much as everybody else. If there was party favors going on here, if there was party favors going on, he may have partook as well. Maybe he didn't do as big of a dose, and then suddenly it just made him sleep. Made him sleep a long time. But for 2 days is interesting. 48 hours straight, that's some serious ish. Okay, but I'm not sitting here saying that that's a far-fetched idea. It's possible. But like I said, it's like some serious weaponized. This is some weaponized party favor, for crying out loud. Okay. But he says they may have taken it. All four of them may have taken it, passed out. He passed out indoors. Maybe he's not a smoker. Maybe those guys went out to they did a little whoop-de-woo, and then they said, hey, I'm gonna go smoke a cig outside. Y'all want to join me? Yeah, bet. We'll go. And then they went out there, and then seconds later, they pass out from having too much in their system. That could be it, right? So they passed out in the cold weather and snow, and within an hour, the body temperature would go down from 98 degrees to 80 degrees, and the heart rhythm goes awry, and the person passes of a cardiac arrest because of the hypothermia that's happening because they're outside in the cold. You got to remember, though, too, one of the guys didn't have a coat on, and I know a lot of us are sitting there going, what? How could that be? Well, there's a possibility. Plenty of guys, plenty of people out here that'll sit there and go, I don't need a coat. Like, it's fine. I'm feet away from the house, and it's hot in here, and I could really use some cold air just to kind of, get some fresh air and fresh cold air on my body. Some people like that kind of stuff. So there could have been a thing where, hey, I'm about to smoke a cig. You want to join me? Yeah, let me grab one of them with you, right? They go outside. They had already taken some. They may have taken the stuff outside with them, take another hit. More intense. So their reaction was more intense than Jordan's, maybe. And that's why they passed out outside. He's inside. Maybe, right? Maybe. But then again, anything is possible with this situation, right? Anything is possible. But hearing this, as far as them talking about this is, having a forensic pathologist come in and talk about this, I think is really important, right? It's very interesting. and of course, he says here, he told the host that the toxicology reports will provide more information on whether party favors were consumed and at what level. And that definitely will be big. Okay. This may just be a recreational level, and they didn't die, that they didn't pass from ODing. So again, it could have just been a bad reaction, could have been laced with something that caused them to pass out. And then they passed out outside in the cold. That could very well be what it is. And Jordan could be innocent on that part. And lucky, too, if he did partake, passed out inside where it's warm. That is a possibility. I still lean on the side of this could very well be laced stuff and bad things went down. I'm still curious about Jordan being passed out for that long of a time. But then if he really was, why didn't he just say that in the first place, y'all? Why is he telling Paserno to go out here and change the story and change the narrative every 5 seconds? Every interview, he's saying something completely different. That's making him look even worse. So if he really did take something and he passed out and he woke up, and at that same time, it was when the fiance broke into the house and the cops are knocking on his door. If it happened to be so convenient, coincidentally, cops are knocking on his door and he's coming out of this drug-fueled stupor, that is very it's a stretch, but it could be possible. Why wouldn't he just say that in the first place? Yeah, we took some stuff. I passed out for 48 hours. I don't remember what happened during these 48 hours. I just woke up and my 3 friends are gone. He should have just said that already. You know that the public would not sit here and say, oh, we understand, but they look at it and go, that's possible. Not the stuff, not 99.9% of the stuff that he's got his lawyers saying out here in these interviews. So it's like I said, it's a stretch. For me, it's a stretch. And now if he comes out and tells the truth, no one's going to believe him. Not one person is going to believe his narrative at all. And that's frustrating. Very frustrating. So I wanted to share with you guys a couple things, okay? We talked about this in a pop-up, but we're going to talk about it again because I think it's really important to pull up this piece. We got to talk about Alex Lee, all right? I talked about this in a pop-up. I'm not going into great detail about this, all right? But please go check out my pop-up video about this. The other thing, though, too, before we go into this, before I forget, why didn't they do a drug test on Jordan? Did they do a drug test on Jordan just to see if he had anything in his system when they met him, when they actually saw him? He's answering the door in nothing but his boxers and holding an empty wine glass. That's weird, y'all. You don't show up. And maybe it's, I don't know, maybe because I've seen so many stories out here of people losing their lives just holding a book in their hand or holding a cell phone in their hand. I'm not answering the door to cops holding an empty wine glass in my hand. I'm just not doing that. Okay. That's a little bit odd. I'm just going to keep it a buck with y'all. That's weird. So I'm wondering, are you on something? Are you still on something? Why haven't they done a drug test on the guy just to see if he was lit still on something? And you never know. Like I said, the reaction of seeing if he saw his friends pass, that could have gotten him to go into a crazy, dark, drug-infueled bender for 48 hours because he just didn't know how to tell people that his 3 friends died in his backyard. That could still be a possibility. But given the fact that he still opened the door with an empty wine glass in his hand, wearing nothing but his boxers, is weird and sus as hell to me. To me, it screams he could still be under the influence of something, and he should have been tested to see if he had anything in his system. Because that could also be another piece to the puzzle of what happened to these guys. Still. But I did want to talk about this. Remember, this is not only just on Jordan now. I know a lot of people are going to sit here and go, "Oh, now you're just trying to turn the lens over to the homeboy." No. I'm not. All I'm saying is that there's more than just one person that are still alive that were at that house. And that's crucial. That's crucial information, guys. His name has been written in the newspapers. All right, he's in the papers now. Alex Weimer Lee. Like I said, I'm not going into a deep dive into it. Go check out my previous video, pop-up video about this. But Alexander Weimer Lee is the fifth mystery person that said he was not the last person to see those guys alive when he walked out that house at around midnight. Now, the question still remains. There are now reports, there are things being said, not reports, but there are things being said where they're saying that he did not leave at midnight, that he may have left later. In fact, this same Alex Lee is, according through other things as well, is saying that the dogs were there. The dogs were actually at the house. The same dogs that were being said, that they said were being dog sat by Jordan's paw. Again, I got questions. But we got to remember, no matter what, Jordan was not the only person hanging out with these guys for the night. We have Alex. So there's just a point here I want to point out, or a thing I want to point out here. And he's right here. That's Alex. And I even said in the pop-up, I was like, I knew that one of the guys that was involved, that was with them kicking it. I was like, there had to have been more people. And if there really was a fifth person, sixth person, seventh person, one of those guys is pictured in this picture. And he's right there. He's right here. That's Alex right there, guys. Now, he has quite an interesting past. Let me get into that. And I'm not going into it too deep. Okay? But he has a criminal record that reveals that he has 3 different incidents. In 2005, when he was 19. All right? Then he pled guilty to 2 of them. He was given 20 hours of community service, but failed to complete it, which I still don't understand why he failed to complete it, unless he had to do like random drug tests and something came back positive of some sort, or he just didn't show up one day to his community service to go serve his community service, right? He was then sentenced to 7 days in jail, which his records show. 7 years later, he's in Aspen, Colorado, living his best life. He was tampering with evidence after another friend of his was arrested at a nightclub. He, in fact, allegedly ingested a bag of X, y'all, and then tried to hide another one when his friend had it. Like when his friend was getting arrested, I'm sorry. And we already went into all this, okay? We went into all of this already. But still, this is strange. He pleaded guilty as part of a plea deal and was given 2 years of unsupervised probation. All right? There's a lot, okay? A lot that we have to look into about this, because let's be real. This is still an individual. He's right here. This is still an individual that was at that party, that was hanging out, chilling in the cut with the boys on a Sunday night past midnight. And then he left. Now, it doesn't be so clearly. I'm sorry. I know everybody can change, right? Just because you have a checkered past does not mean you can't change. But still, you know for a fact, and I've said it before, you are not doing the Lord's work on a Sunday night past midnight. You are not. You're not there working on a big old project, for your kids or anything of that sort. All right. You watched the game, you kicked it. Maybe you had a few too many, and now you're feeling a little, energized and you want to hang out. You're doing more, you're drinking more, you're maybe smoking cigarettes, maybe you're smoking a little something else. And then other party favors come out as well. So in my head, I'm going, okay, could he have provided? He could have. You never know. Jordan may have had some. He may have said, I got some too. I'll bring it with me though. And they all went over to Jordan's. That's a possibility. But we can't deny that there's two people that survived. There are two people that have stories to tell. It's not only just Jordan. Jordan's story is suspicious as hell because he has his lawyer out here talking crazy. And he keeps changing his narrative. We have only heard one thing so far from Alex's lawyer. And it was that he left the house, seeing them, all those guys still alive, while they were watching Jeopardy at around midnight. That's all he said so far. He didn't say, oh, they were partaking in this. They were doing this, that, and the third. They were doing a little something, whatever it may be. Didn't even say any of that stuff. Here's the other possibility too. Let me just say this too. Okay. Let me just say this really, really quick. Here is the other possibility in my head. This is just my speculation. Like I said, we got to talk these things out. So here's my speculation here. My speculation theory. What if they were over at Homeboy's spot, Alex? Because apparently they went over to the fifth guy's house or apartment, I guess, to watch a little bit more of the game, hang out, blah, 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 right? They're over there, they're hanging out. Again, this is speculation. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm the speculation train right now. What if one of the guys said, hey, or what if Jordan said, yo, I got a little something at home, if you want to, or not that. Thought I had in my head is maybe a conversation was brought up about taking things up a notch, if you get what I'm saying. Taking the party up a notch. Let's just say one of the guys was like, yeah, man, I'm down for kicking it. Let's keep on kicking it, All right. Alex, who, and this is just assumption, who has a very checkered past with party favors. He clearly has a relationship with it. What if he's like, yeah, I got a hookup, but I got to go get it. I don't have it on me, but I can hook y'all up, but I got to go get it. And then Jordan's like, yeah, come on through. Let me come to my crib. All right. We'll all go over there and, because maybe it was like closer to where you need to go pick up the stuff. God only knows. Or it's like, yo, I'm going to go and get this stuff. But, maybe he didn't want them over at his house, over at his crib doing it over there. Maybe because of his priors. I don't know. But maybe he went to go pick up that ish on the way to Jordan's crib. Guys went over there, did their thing, played some Call of Duty, did some video games, hung out, did some shots, kept drinking. Then he shows up and he's holding. And they get the hookup while Jeopardy is playing in the background. I don't freaking know. Okay. But still odd, right? But still very, very odd. That's a possibility. Yeah, I gotta go to my plug. I'll get it, and I'll meet you guys over at Jordan's. Bet? All right, cool. See you guys there. That's a possibility. Then they went over there. Maybe Jordan had a little bit of his own as well, and they kind of, shared it. And everyone partook, and then bad things happened. And maybe homeboy, maybe Alex couldn't partake, maybe because of priors, maybe because of whatever he has to do, right? But he left. He didn't, from what we hear so far, which is not much, we haven't heard anything about him being passed out for 48 hours. In fact, he was one of the people reaching out to Jordan over the 48 hours. So maybe he had a hookup, hooked it up for his friends, and said, I'm gone. I'm going to go. But you guys have fun. I'll see you guys later. Much love. Go Chiefs. And he left. But that's very odd. But again, we can't forget that it's not only just Jordan now. It is also Alex that has a story. And we need to hear from both of them now. Because right now, Jordan and Alex's stories are not meeting. And that could be Alex is trying to distance himself from this and trying to keep him looking innocent as much as possible. Or he's actually the one telling the truth. Yeah, I left at midnight and that's it. But there's so many inconsistencies and there's so many snags in this story. It's very, very frustrating, right? And it makes you wonder what really went down here. But it could literally just be an innocent situation. People partaking and having a bad reaction. And this guy not doing anything about it. This Jordan fella not doing anything about it. Did Alex provide? Could Alex be the one who provided this? Maybe. But then again, maybe not. You know? So we have to see what's going on here because it's definitely a frustrating thing for sure. But please, guys, don't forget to hit that like button down below. Crush it. Please and thank you. Hit that like button. Hit it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. That'll be greatly appreciated. Check out my merch page, pascalmerch.com. That'll be greatly appreciated. Let me get some of these super chats really quick before we move on. Mimi, thank you so much for the 2. Don't try just no. Stay healthy. Yeah. Kids, just say no. Just say no. Everything's so tainted now. Everything is like, there's no say. You can't do stuff. Just don't. Just don't do it, kids. S Dubs, thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate it. Had to have a warrant to take blood. You're right. Also, time of demise will be the same because they were found at the same time. Yes, that's, of course, what I hope they find in the autopsy, right? Because if it's within minutes of each other, because of, everybody's bodies are different, they react to things differently, maybe. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? So it may be within minutes of what happened here, right? Of their time of passings, right? Mimi, thank you so much again. And yes, we love our mods. Of course. Shout out to the mods. Okay? Thank you so much for the super chats. I really do appreciate it, guys. And if you guys appreciate the conversation, hit that like button, okay? Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on Facebook. Please don't forget to do that. That'll be greatly appreciated, okay? But yeah, it is a very strange series of events. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out, and I'm not going to pull this up, okay? Well, maybe I can try to find it. I don't know. I don't even know if I have it in here. That's not it. Hold up. It's just one of them where robocalls. It's just a little soundbite, and I don't know where it is exactly. I don't know where it is exactly, but of course, this is Paserno. Okay, Paserno, Jordan Willis's lawyer, who's been all up in the interviews and all that. He said something, and of course, David Harrington's mother even spoke about it too. And I wanted to talk about that really quick because I have and this is another strange theory, guys. I'm just going to say it again, and I have a feeling is, maybe somebody else will use it. I don't know. Okay. I've been seeing my theories getting reused on other platforms. It's kind of funny. But this is the other theory I have. And of course, everybody, may be thinking it is exactly the same as me. But I do find this to be very interesting. Now, this all has to do with the stories about how weird Jordan is. Remember how Jordan, they say there's these horrible things are being said about Jordan, right? Just about how odd he is and how strange he is and all that stuff, right? Okay. This just is, again, this is a strange, just a speculation. All right. So just ride with me. And let me see if I can find this soundbite. Here it is. I think.
You and says, hey, these 3 guys are missing, and they're your friend, you're going to respond. If Alex had said, look at it, you did not receive the messages, I guess I should have said he didn't read the message.
Yeah, trash.
And then he told me that's right. So there's 2 text messages. The police arrived at his home.
All right.
But the phone records that you have are consistent with him. If you look at them, the calls were early in the morning.
Yeah, we have
his dad called at noon and he picked up. He didn't pick up any in the morning. He didn't pick up any in the evening when he would have been sleeping.
Yes.
There were no other phone calls. And the text messages, the same way. There's no outgoing text messages. Those phone for 2. So everything is consistent with what he's saying. And again, one last thing.
There.
He purchased
this part right here. This part, and again, this is just me. This could be me just grasping at straws. Okay. So I'm already calling myself out about this. But here's this strange theory that I have. Remember, they said, or at least the rumor mill, all right, people are sliding into the group chat and putting in their 2 cents about how strange or odd or awkward this guy is. So just hear me out on this, okay?
Go ahead.
He purchased Kansas City Chiefs playoff tickets, TBA, for the team the next week because we didn't know who it was going to be. I have those tickets, okay? Who does that if they're going to harm 3 or 4 of their very best friends and they're no longer planning on them being there?
I get it.
Okay. Now, first off, this what he just said, what Paserno said, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that Taylor Swift is at every Kansas City game. It doesn't matter. I know a lot of people care, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the outcome of the game. It doesn't change if they're going to the Super Bowl or not, which they are, of course, now. Go Chiefs. But at the same time, it doesn't matter that he bought tickets and wanted to give and was planning on gifting these things to his friends. It does not build. That is not an alibi. It doesn't put him away from the actual scene of the tragedy. Okay. It doesn't matter, but it does make you wonder, how tight was he really with these guys? Could he have been somebody? Could he be somebody that gets friends through the things that he has, the access of things that he has, like money, being able to have tickets, to go buy tickets to a game? Maybe he's, again, because we hear how socially awkward this guy is and all that stuff, and that's just all that's all rumor. But I wonder if he's one of those guys that provides things to maintain friendships, like party favors. What are the chances of him actually having party favors, but he doesn't partake in it at all? But he has it for his friends. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't really use this stuff. I don't do that. But I have it for my friends when they show up because I know that they like it. And it's a way of maintaining friends, maintaining relationships, still being considered cool against your, within your friend group. Because you may not be the most social. You may not be the most popular one, but you're the one with the dope video games and the nice crib and the great liquor and the premium party favors. He's the one with the nice ride and the access to really dope football seats. You know what I mean? Tickets to the best seats in the whole freaking stadium. You see what I'm saying? Now, I know Now, I know that is a full-on stretch, right? But I look at this and I hear about him being a little awkward, all right? And then we hear about him buying these tickets and all that, and I keep wondering, was it just because? Is he just trying to maintain these relationships with his friends? And this is his language on how he maintains his relationship with his friends? Does he do this to maintain, to stay relevant, to stay in the forefront of these guys' minds? Like, oh man, he's great, man, because you got to remember the Ricky's father even said that he was weird, that he was a little off. Now, if he was really off, why would you? And you're not somebody who would hang out with somebody like that very often. Why were they hanging out with him? Is it because he was able to provide certain things that maybe the average Joe would not be able to provide? I mean, there's plenty of people out here that will go and latch on to friends, to certain people because of their economic status. There's plenty of people that will do that because they think, oh, if I'm around a well-to-do, well-off person, maybe some of his influence will rub off on me, or I get access to all of his cool stuff. Plenty of people do that. It's messed up, and I don't recommend that. Be a friend with somebody because you like who they are, not because of what they have, right? But it is a question. It is a question. And again, it could be nothing. But it is interesting that he bought tickets to this thing. They were at his house. This bad thing happened where they all three are gone. And it makes you wonder if it's like, oh, I got it. I got stuff. Come on. Let's go to my crib. I got that stuff. You want to turn it up a notch? Let's turn it up a notch. I got some. I don't touch that stuff, guys. But I have it. I just figured, it's for y'all or for the ladies or whatever the hell it is, right? Because there's plenty of guys that will, there's plenty of people that will do that kind of stuff too. Oh, I provide it for the ladies because I know the ladies like it, right? So again, it's interesting. It's interesting, I don't know. Yeah, it could have very well been that stuff like, yo, I got some really great stuff, y'all, and it's over at the crib, though. Who's coming with me? I got video games. I got this, and this. I got plenty of liquor, bro. Let's go over there, man. Let's just do that thing. Yeah, okay. You down? Yeah, I'm down. Let's go. I'm riding with you, man. All right, cool. Let's go. They went down there and all this crazy stuff went down. I don't know. But like I said, it's just speculation. Like I said, and of course I'm probably talking wild, but there is a possibility of that. There is. Okay. I'm just I'm just spitballing here and just talking off the top of the dome. But again, I could be absolutely wrong. And 99.9% of the time in this particular one, or with this theory, it could be completely, absolutely freaking wrong. But it does make you wonder about that piece. Why was he buying tickets like that out of nowhere, right? But then again, that still does not make him innocent. Just makes it just shows that they are close, or he perceives these guys as close enough friends that he's willing to go drop a couple $100, hundreds of dollars actually, for seats in a football game. That's big. Football tickets are not cheap, especially when they were going in. I think it was they just finished the season with that. That was like their last season game or something like that on January, in the top of January. So I mean, that's big. That's crucial. So ticket sales are going to go all the way up. Prices of tickets are going to be expensive as hell. So yeah, it's interesting. nonetheless. So I'm just, just asking the question because I think a lot of us are asking that as well. Maybe. Okay. Wait, Tiffany Crockett said, do straight married men want to get messed up with no women around? That's an interesting question. Okay, you know what? I'm going to entertain that question. Let me entertain that question. Where did it go? I just took it down and let me answer that question. Do straight married men want to get that messed up with no women around? Let me say, maybe. Depends on how you party. Depends on how you kick it. Okay, no women around, probably not. They probably would rather have women around them, but do they want their wife around them while they're trying to kick it? Probably not. Why I say that? Because you're getting the look. You're getting the look by your wife. If you're trying to go kick it, if your plan is, okay, it's Sunday and I don't want to remember tonight type thing, which I don't recommend. Don't do that, guys. You're probably not trying to kick it with your wife unless your wife is on the same wavelength and same thought process as you. But most of the time, you're going to sit there and you're going to look over while you're doing your shots and kicking it and doing your thing. And your wife is there. What are they usually doing? They're giving you that look like, another one, honey? Trust me. You're not doing that. Come on. You're not doing that with, no. You're doing that with your boys and not worrying about any judgment because you're going to get the judgment from the wifey. Trust. Unless and only unless she is on the same wavelength. She understands the goal tonight is to get obliterated and you're getting obliterated with me too or something like that. But majority of the time, nah, you're not trying to do that. That's why it's guys' night. You go and kick it. No judgment. Let your hair down if you still have hair and you get to go kick it, right? And then you go home and you're messed up. And then, yeah, you have to deal with the next day because you're hungover. You still have to take care of the kids and you're just saying, oh, I'm so hungover. And the wife's like, I wonder why you are. Come on now. Fellas, we all know that story. Okay. We all know that story. All right. Why? All right. I wonder why you're hungover. What did you do last night? So, again, probably not. They're probably going to do it with they're going to go and hang out with the boys so the boys can be boys. Same thing with girls' nights, right? It's the same thing. Because for a fact, when when the wife is out, you're out there with her, it's not like she can really do her thing because your husband's going to be sitting there doing the same thing. Like, oh, here she goes again. Oh, right. So, I mean, that's the thing. I know that one of the guys was engaged, and the other two guys, I mean, one has a partner and another one I think is single, if I'm correct. So, that's the thing, though. I don't know. Yes, one was engaged, one is engaged, and one was has a long-term partner for sure. And trust me, yes. So yeah, of course, if it was a situation where the fellas were there and other girls were there that were not girlfriend, fiance, or wife type thing, I'm sure they would have been there, right? And had a good time and do whatever. But at the same time, that was not the situation. And I don't think it's anything deeper than that. I just think that they went over there to go kick it and it just went terribly awry. That's what I think. But again, I digress. Theories, speculations, all the live long day. All the live long day. So yeah, again, very, very interesting stuff. But Yeah. It is the wildest thing, guys. And we got a lot, of course, a lot of people are hopping on to this story. A lot of people are talking about this. And a lot of people have questions, and understandably they have questions. I have questions. I wish I knew the answers and all that. But this pathologist that we just read earlier, that's interesting that the police may already know what actually happened. And I hope that they are still keeping tabs on Jordan, because if it is related to some sort of tainted party favor, it was done in his house. And of course, if it was him, or if it was Alex, the fifth guy that provided this stuff, they could look at some charges here for providing this stuff, unless they work out a deal and they're able to, have somebody rat out the actual person who provided them with the actual stuff, like sold him the stuff. Does that make sense? But again, it's more than just Jordan here, guys. It's more than just Jordan. It is two people that were there, Alex and Jordan, and they both need to start speaking up, and they both need to start telling the doggone truth. That's what the problem is. Really. The other thing, though, too, let me say this too, really quick. Did Jordan pick up the phone when Alex called him? That's one other question I have too, because now crazy I'm just going to put this up. I don't care anymore. Speculation warning, okay? Speculation warning. Speculation warning on this. Alex said he contacted him, that he called him, that he texted him, right? Was there an actual conversation between Alex and Jordan? And if there was an actual conversation between them, what was being said? I know I said it. But speculation warning. What was the conversation that was being said between them? If there was a conversation. Remember, people were contacting Alex. Alex contacted Jordan. Even Paserno said, yes, he indeed received information or contact, or he did receive text and a phone call or some sort of correspondence from Alex. He only allegedly picked up the phone when his father called. Jordan picked up the phone when his father called around noon. He even said it in this interview. That's the only phone call that he picked up, allegedly. But he knows for a fact that Alex did reach out and try to get in contact with Jordan. So what was being said? If it was in text message form, what was being said? Was Jordan basically saying, hey, don't say a damn thing. Do not include me in this situation. I know I provided that ish, but I didn't know it was tainted. Don't say nothing. Please don't say anything to anybody. That's a possibility. What happened here? What happened here? Please help me. Let's get our timelines right. Whatever it may be. Because for a fact, I'm sure they didn't expect this to blow up so big and become such an international story, right? Because it's international now. But, what could have been the conversation there, just so that, to distance himself from it. He's like, man, I got priors, bro. I got priors. You got to remember, he's got a record. Alex does. And if he's connected to this situation, he could be thrown in jail for a very, very long time. But again, like I said, just speculation. That is just speculation like a mug. I'm just exercising theories. But those are the things I thought about over this past weekend. I'm like, wait, what if this and what if this, what if that? But Alex has a story here too. And people like 5-0, etc., really need to start diving in on him too, on Alex. And I'm not sitting here saying like, make his life a living hell and, go to his door and, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, think about these things, guys. Think about it. Fifth person was there. His name is Alex. He has priors, y'all. He has priors with party favors, with various amounts of party favors. He's one of the last people to see any of those guys. He leaves. They're gone. Within those 48 hours, he contacts Jordan at some point. What did he say? If it was just text messages and Jordan didn't respond to them, he received them, but he didn't see them, right? What was being said in those text messages that he allegedly did not see at all? It's just interesting. So many questions. But of course, hopefully we'll find out some more information here soon, right? There's a lot more information. I got some pop-up videos to give, to share with you guys over the course of today. So I will be sharing those with you guys. And again, those are, I think very important information that we should really look into and see what's going on. All right. But that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Again, I know that latter half was like speculation warning, but I had to ask those questions because there's some questions that really haven't been answered. And I know a lot of it will be answered within these toxicology reports and autopsy reports. And whenever police actually release the paperwork that they have revolving around this particular case. It's frustrating, y'all. It's frustrating, but we'll see what happens here very, very soon. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Okay. Please go check out PascalMerch.com. I have it pinned. Thank you, S-Dubs. I have it pinned to the top of the chat right now. Please go and check it out, okay? Please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, all right? We're almost at 800 likes, but let's get it to 800 likes before you leave. You know what I mean? Hit that like button on your way out. That would really mean a lot. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe, hit that follow button on my Facebook page. Please and thank you. All right. I appreciate all y'all for being here. We're going to keep on talking about this as the story continues to develop. But we definitely have many other stories we got to talk about as well. Many other cases that need some look-see-loos. So we will be talking about that here very, very soon. Okay, guys. But anyway, it is time to get going. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that follow button as well. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a great Monday. Do something positive. Whatever that positive thing is, just do it safely. Okay, guys? Anyway, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.